Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. You got it, it's that time. Well, do you know what time it is? It's Canada market housing time. Let's go look across the country, see what we're doing. Let's see what the headlines are out there. Let's maybe go back and, let's look at the headlines and then look at what's really happening right now. I always find this stuff interesting. As Mr. Don Campbell says, which I will have him on this show at some point. I just want to make sure it's really, really good when I have him on. So, yeah, maybe I'll reach out to him this week and we'll get him on in the next couple of weeks. But anyways, what he says is we're going to pull open the curtains. We're going to look behind the curtains and see what is actually happening. We're just going to look at the headlines. So this week's top stories: Canada's big banks warn, real estate shock and hard landing are coming. I think they've been watching the channel about the hard landing. Real estate fueled by pre-approvals, enormous shock coming, BMO. Canadian real estate prices are back to November 2021, down over 100K since the peak. In my mind, so banks are always going to be cautious, right? And then you got this report out from ReMax, which is on the other side of the ball, right? They want to sell more houses. That's how they make their money. Canadian cities facing housing supply crisis. So they're back on the train that saying, hey, nothing has changed. We're still going to need more houses. You know, the 3 million or 3.5 extra houses that, like dwellings that were needed by 2030, as per the CMHC report earlier this year, heck, they're still needed. And by the way, we think that's too low. So what's happening out there? Are we gonna, what is happening? And now some of this is anecdotal, because I obviously work in Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton, Brantford, Niagara, Toronto. We get listings all over. And we've seen showings go up. 2 months ago, if you had a price, something overpriced by $10,000, you wouldn't even get a showing. There's so much for them to see on the market that they're like, hey, no, don't worry about it. We're just going to go see that other one. Now we can overprice it by 30, 40 grand. People will come and they're going to negotiate. They're going to be like, hey, you're listed at 980. We want to pay 920. Let's talk back and forth and end up at 950. Oh, and by the way, we're going to have, our financing condition and inspection. And nobody cares. So what's happening? Obviously. So Canadian home sales post small decline from July to August. I think we heard something like that here before. I don't know. Maybe we can go back to the video I did in early September. By the way, I still don't know why it takes 15 days for them to get these stats out. With the technology we have today, this should be instantaneous. As the clock ticks over, we should get instantaneous reporting from Korea. I think it's a little sad. So home sales edged down 1% month over month. Okay, they're below August 2021. We know that's going to happen by 24.7%. But so here's the thing. The number of newly listed properties dropped 5.4% month over month. So that means that obviously we had more properties listed in July than August. When that happens, supply gets constrained. So there's less out there for people to look at. There's still a lot for people to look at. Don't get me wrong. We're in a much more normalized market than we've been in probably like the last 7 years. When I started real estate, this is kind of what it felt like. Like you could have conditions, there was stuff on the market, you could go out and look at a house. You had more than 20 minutes to decide if you wanted to buy it or not. So home price index edged down 1.6% month over month. It's still up 7.1 year over year. Okay, so that means that even though prices are going up with interest rates, that at least month over month, houses are getting cheaper to own. They're still more expensive to own year over year. That's because, we were probably at 1% interest rates last September or something stupid. And that's going to continue in you're probably going to see year over year declines March, April, May next year. Unless something happens and they just crush interest rates and they do quantitative easing again, which I don't see is going to happen by that point. Or we're not going to get quantitative easing to get us out of this recession we're going into. So anecdotally, like, we're seeing 3.5 months of inventory on a national level. That's up a bit from July, not huge. They want long-term average of 5 months. So we're still, like, that's why we're still seeing bidding wars out there. We're like, it's not like the bidding wars we've seen, but we're seeing 2 or 3 offers on a property. It's not like we have to jump at the first offer. There's interest out there and people are buying homes. Now we can go back to the headline that says people are buying these because they're pre-approved and these are lower interest rates. Well, we've had some of that. We've had people say, I need to close September 26th, by September 26th, because that's when my rate goes up. And then I can't afford as much. That's fair. And yet, I don't, maybe we're not at the bottom, but we're damn sure close to it unless something else happens. And if not, like, we might see 1% declines month over month for the next 4 to 6 months. I'm starting to look at flips again. I'm starting to look at short-term stuff in this market and say, I might be able to pick something up, get a good discount on it, and, turn that property over and then sell into the spring market when interest rates are lower because we're in a little bit of a recession. And people are still going to buy because, again, there is a problem with supply in certain markets in Canada. That's all I'm going to say. It looks like prices in Alberta have peaked. Oil prices are come off a little bit. And I don't need them to go up 10% there. Well, if you guys are new to the channel, you might be new to the channel. I might own a fair bit of real estate in Alberta, and I'm always happy when prices go up on stuff I own. But at the end of the day, I want to buy more out there. We have about 250 units. I would love to get to 1,000 units out there. So I need to buy a crap ton more at prices I want to buy at. So therefore, I'm happy that they're kind of just leveling off and we're not going to see stupidity. East Coast prices are softening, but we're going to go through some of the numbers here. And it's pretty interesting on the year over year. So Canada is down 3.9. Now, I want somebody from Korea to call me. I'm actually going to call Korea because I don't understand. I would say 9 out of 10 markets in Canada are still up year over year. But we see a Canadian average price down 3.9%, which is up from last month because it was down 5% year over year last month. Go back to the video, you can see. I just don't get it. Well, starting out in Halifax. So the East Coast is still up massive year over year. They're up 18%. Moncton, PEI, they're all up 18 to 20% year over year. So they're still riding that immigration, or provincial immigration, from people leaving higher priced jurisdictions like Ontario, southwestern Ontario, moving out to the East Coast. So they are still riding that. Like Moncton, 23%, 17%. So it's still up massively year over year. And we're seeing that in some of the smaller markets in Ontario, not all of them obviously, like Sudbury, Windsor, they're still up double digits year over year. Now, they started obviously at a lower price point and they've had some good economic news, which Windsor manufacturing, Sudbury, obviously nickel is a very important material right now for making EVs, so they've had massive investment there as well. So they've had people moving in for work. And when that happens, they need more housing. Housing prices go up because, again, we don't build enough housing anywhere in Ontario. It's just a fact. Greater Toronto, still up 8.8% year over year. Kudos to everybody who went and invested in some of these small towns that have mining. We all could have said, yeah, nickel's going to be important, but we all didn't go invest up in Sudbury or the Sioux or places like that. Peterborough, the Kawarthas. Now this was one of the hottest markets, still up 11% year over year. Let's go to Ottawa. What's Ottawa doing? 4% year over year, and let's be honest, normal year, we'd all be celebrating. 4% year over year is massive. London, 0.5%. So that's going to turn negative soon. Next month, that's going to turn negative. Oakville, Milton, 1.2%. That's probably going to turn negative year over year. Guelph still 4.6. So it's funny, watch. So Guelph, 4.6%, you saw that, right? Let's go to Kitchener. Starts with a K, right? Look at that. Down 2.2. They're right next to each other. I don't know. And it's just funny how this all works. Cornwall, oh look, Cornwall's still up 22.9%. So if you bought in Cornwall last year, you're laughing. I sold in Cornwall last year. Barrie, 5.6, so still strong. Brantford, 4.7. So still healthy, but I'm going to guess fully half of these turn negative next month on this chart. And again, if I didn't mention where you're from, you can always go on Korea.ca, housing market stats, Canadian housing market stats, national price map, and get this. All right, Winnipeg, 4.1. Let's check out Saskatoon, 6.8. Alberta, my favorite place to invest right now. Edmonton, 4.3. I bet you Calgary's 10-ish. 11.9. Look at that. Now there are places in Alberta that did see negative. Fort McMurray, I'm really glad I didn't buy that apartment building I looked at there. Down 11% year over year. Even though oil prices are up. There are less people and they're not doing the same construction projects because they don't think it's going to last. Central Alberta, 1%. Let's check out Vancouver. Still up 7.4%. So these are really strong numbers. I am going to call Korea because I don't understand their down negative, their national negative thing, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, anecdotally, what I'm seeing here, what I'm seeing from the supply numbers is that the housing market, obviously, we had that crash. It feels like we're finding a bottom. I don't know that we found the bottom, but again, if you wait for the bottom of any market, you've missed it. So I am definitely buying right now. I'm interested. I'm looking in Ontario, I'm looking in Alberta, flips, buy and hold, you name it, I'm looking for it. So if you guys have something, reach out to me. As always, this video is brought to you by Catano Loeffler Realty Services. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, please do give us a call. And look forward to seeing everybody at tonight's meetup, September 19th. Our next one is October 24th. So if you don't make tonight, we'll see you at the next one. Thanks everyone, have a great day.